FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
So there is, I claim, something deceptively reassuring in our readiness to assume full guilt and responsibility for the threats to our environment. We like to be guilty since if we are guilty, then it all depends on us. We pull the strings, and so in principle we can also save ourselves by simply changing our lives. What is really difficult for us to accept is that we are reduced to the purely passive role, sometimes reduced to a purely passive role of an impotent observer who can only sit back and watch what his fate will be. To avoid such a situation, we are prone to engage in frantic, obsessive activities, recycling paper, buying organic food, or whatever, just so that we can be sure that we are doing something, making our contribution, like a soccer or baseball fan who supports his team in front of a TV screen at home, shouting and jumping up from his seat in the superstitious belief that this will somehow influence the outcome. It is true that the typical form of fetishistic disavowal apropos ecology is, I know very well that we are all threatened, but I don't really believe it. So I am not ready to do anything really radical and change my way of life. But I claim there is also the opposite form of disavowal. Something like, I know very well that I cannot really influence the process which may lead to my ruin, like earthquake or whatever. But it is nonetheless too traumatic for me to accept this, so I cannot resist the urge to do something, even if I know it is ultimately meaningless. Do we not buy organic food for much the same reason? Who really believes that those semi-putrefying and overpriced organic apples are really healthier? The point is that by buying them, we are not just buying and consuming a product. We are simultaneously doing something meaningful, demonstrating our capacity for care and global awareness, participating in a noble, large, collective project. And I think, don't have time to develop it, that there is something of this same order, which is no longer just a marginal phenomenon, but is more and more assuming a central role in how today's capitalism functions. For me, the best example, I'm sorry if some of you know it, nonetheless, I think it's important to repeat it, would be what I call the Starbucks logic. You know what you encounter when you go to a Starbucks coffee shop. Basically, the message is true. Our coffee is a little bit more expensive, but 1 cent from every coffee goes for Guatemala children, 5 cents goes for water, for blah, blah, blah. In other words, the logic is the following one, and in a perverse way, I like it. The logic is, in the old days, we were consumerists, and then we felt bad, and if you wanted to pretend to be an ethical being, you had to do something to counteract it. But the offer here is, we make it simpler for you. We make the product. You can remain just a consumerist because your altruistic nature, solidarity with poor, it's included into the price, you know.